The entertainment industry is caught in the throes of one of its most explosive controversies, centered around Disney's live-action Snow White remake. What began as another adaptation of a classic fairy tale has spiraled into a crisis shaking the foundation of Hollywood. The stakes are higher than ever for Disney, with audiences worldwide divided over the film's radical changes to a beloved story. The drama began to unfold when Rachel Zegler, cast as Snow White, gave promotional interviews that quickly went viral for all the wrong reasons. Instead of building anticipation for the film, Zegler's remarks sparked outrage among fans. In one interview, she dismissed the importance of the original love story, hinting that the prince's role might be cut entirely. "It's really not about the love story at all," she said, adding, "all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby." Her casual tone and dismissiveness ignited a backlash that caught Disney executives off guard. As more of her interviews surfaced, fans began to notice a troubling pattern. Zegler repeatedly distanced herself from the original story, presenting a vision for the film that clashed with the character's traditional portrayal. She often described the classic tale as outdated, suggesting it needed a complete reimagining to suit modern audiences. These statements, combined with leaked details about significant changes to the story, created a firestorm of controversy. The situation took a dramatic turn when South Park entered the fray. Known for its sharp satire, the show didn't hold back in addressing the Snow White controversy. In an episode titled Into the Pan, the creators brilliantly lampooned Disney's recent casting decisions and storytelling choices. The episode reimagined familiar South Park characters in ways that mimicked Disney's updates, delivering a scathing critique of Hollywood's approach to reimagining classics. Disney executives reportedly went into panic mode. Sources revealed that emergency meetings were held to address the growing backlash. South Park's commentary had resonated with many fans, articulating frustrations they felt but hadn't been able to express. The episode highlighted a growing sentiment that Disney was losing touch with its audience by prioritizing messaging over storytelling. The controversy intensified as details about the film's changes emerged. The seven dwarfs, integral to the original tale, were being replaced with magical creatures of diverse backgrounds. The prince's role was diminished, and the central romance, which had inspired generations, was largely abandoned. These weren't minor tweaks, but a complete overhaul of what made Snow White iconic. Industry insiders began to question whether Disney had gone too far in its quest to modernize the story. One veteran producer commented, "When you're dealing with beloved properties like Snow White, there's a fine line between updating for modern audiences and disregarding what made the original special." Compounding the issue, social media users started compiling clips from Zegler's interviews, which many perceived as dismissive of the original material. In one particularly controversial moment, she suggested that the traditional story wasn't worth preserving, further alienating longtime fans. Comparisons to other Disney princesses like Emma Watson and Lily James, who had managed to modernize their characters while respecting their origins, highlighted the stark difference in approach. Zegler's remarks seemed to lack the reverence that fans had come to expect from actors taking on such iconic roles. The South Park episode wasn't the end of the critique. The show's creators expanded their commentary to address Hollywood's broader approach to representation and storytelling. Their satirical lens exposed how attempts at inclusivity often resulted in tokenism rather than authentic representation. By transforming their own characters into exaggerated versions of Disney's updates, South Park created a mirror reflecting Hollywood's pitfalls, resonating deeply with audiences. Behind the scenes, Disney scrambled to contain the damage. Reports surfaced of executives reaching out to Comedy Central in an attempt to prevent further South Park episodes targeting the company. These efforts only fueled more debates about corporate influence and artistic freedom. One insider noted, Disney has never been more vulnerable to criticism, and South Park knew exactly where to hit them. As the controversy unfolded, leaked production details painted a troubling picture. The changes to Snow White weren't just cosmetic, but represented a fundamental reimagining of the story. Elements that had defined the tale for generations were stripped away, replaced with what critics described as heavy-handed messaging, disconnected from the original's heart and soul. Zegler's continued media appearances only exacerbated the situation. Doubling down on her earlier statements, she declared, "We're not doing the fairy tale that everyone thinks they know. This is something completely different." While some praised her honesty, others saw it as further evidence of a disconnect between Hollywood and its audience. The controversy reached a fever pitch as analysts began examining the broader implications for Disney's future. The Snow White remake wasn't an isolated issue, but part of a larger pattern of diminishing returns on Disney's live-action adaptations. Earlier successes like Beauty and the Beast and The Jungle Book had carefully balanced nostalgia with updates, but recent projects that veered too far from their source material struggled to resonate. The ripple effects extended beyond Snow White. Other films in development were reportedly being re-evaluated in response to the backlash. Scripts were being rewritten and marketing strategies reconsidered. An anonymous executive admitted, "There's a growing realization that we might have misread what audiences actually want from these reimaginings." South Park's critique continued to resonate, drawing attention to Disney's corporate decision-making process. The show depicted executives frantically trying to appeal to every demographic while losing sight of storytelling fundamentals. This satirical portrayal struck a chord with fans who felt recent remakes prioritized ideology over narrative coherence. Focus groups revealed that while audiences were open to updates, they drew a line at changes that fundamentally altered character motivations and core storylines. One market researcher explained, "People want these stories to feel fresh and relevant, but they don't want them transformed into something unrecognizable." The financial stakes couldn't be ignored. Analysts began factoring the potential fallout into Disney's stock performance, raising questions about the long-term viability of their remake strategy. The Snow White controversy had evolved from a cultural debate into a serious business concern, forcing Disney to confront the broader implications of its creative decisions. As the release of the Snow White remake looms, all eyes are on Disney to see how they navigate this turbulent period. Will audiences embrace Zegler's reinterpretation, or will this become a cautionary tale about the risks of reinventing beloved classics? One thing is clear, the days of simple remakes are over. Hollywood now faces the challenge of balancing tradition and innovation, and the outcome of this saga could shape the industry for years to come. For now, the entertainment world watches and waits, uncertain if this story will end in a happily ever after.